welcome to the Instagram stories for Tuesday, March 5th. I'm your host, Daniel Hill. Normally, we do Mosseri Monday on Mondays. I didn't have a chance to do the show for Monday, so sorry about that. We're going to be doing a Tuesday show. Before we get into the Mosseri question and answer part, though, Instagram announced a new feature for the Instagram DMs, which is essentially the ability to be able to edit your direct messages that you send up to 15 minutes after you send them. Here's the head of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, talking about that recent change. And by the way, maybe he does listen to the show and noticed how I upgraded my audio because he really upgraded his audio.
New DM features this week. Now, when you think of Instagram, you probably think of a feed of square photos. But how Instagram works has changed a lot over the years. And if you look at what people share and how people express their creativity, the primary way they do so is actually DMs on Instagram. More photos and videos are shared in DMs than are to stories or to feed in any given day. And hopefully these will give you a few tools to help control and shape the experience into what you want and what you need. So edit message. We've all made that mistake where we've had an embarrassing typo and we've wanted to edit it. Now you can actually do so. Within 15 minutes of sending a message, you can long press that message and edit it right then. Pin threads. If you look at how people message, most people message only a few people the majority of the time. And what Pin allows you to do is pin up to 3 threads to the top of your inbox. So let me know down below in the comments if you're surprised that the primary way people share on Instagram is actually through DMs, or how you think you spend the most time on Instagram. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Nice to see Instagram implementing these features of not only being able to edit your DMs up to 15 minutes after you send it, but also the ability to pin a DM conversation in your DM inbox. For those of you who have maybe sent DMs with typos, I know I have, what I would do is copy the text of the message to my clipboard with the typo in it, unsend the message, then paste the text from my clipboard, fix the typo, and resend the message. So this way the person who I was engaging with would think that I was an intelligent person who knew how to spell correctly. However, if you sent multiple messages, now you have one message that's out of order. It's a whole thing. Really nice to see Instagram having this ability to edit DMs. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the questions from Mosseri Monday. We won't have time for all of them, but we'll hit the highlights. So stay tuned. And we're back. Okay, let's dive into the question and answer part of the show. The first question, how can I understand the algorithm better? I like this question. I would say the 2 things to look at are the 2 videos that Adam Mosseri has done over the past 2 years where he explains the algorithm in depth. Each video is about 10 minutes long. He explains all the parts of the Instagram app and how the algorithms for each of those work. I've done tons of videos and content on those specific videos, but here's Adam's answer for how to understand the algorithm better.
So there are a variety of algorithms that we use across Instagram, but generally we try to use them to connect people with the content they're interested in most. Now, once a year I post a video explaining the latest, so I'll post one right after this or a link to it. But at a high level, we are looking at all of the things that you've done in the past on Instagram and trying to predict how likely you are to like, tap, comment, share something in the future. In general, if you're trying to understand how your content is doing, the things I would particularly pay attention to is the like per reach rate and the send per reach rate, which are probably 2 of the most important signals.
I agree with that answer. When people share your content, that means it was truly either incredibly valuable or incredibly entertaining, or there was some other reason that it was very significant for them to share your content with someone else. Again, you can't tell who they shared it with. That would be a useful piece of information. You don't know who shared it. Again, I'm digressing. Let's do another question that sort of has to do with the algorithm. How is Instagram ranking stories? Why are some stories shown higher than others? If you didn't know, Instagram shows you stories that it thinks you are most likely to be interested in and most likely to watch and engage with. That's how your stories are ordered. Here is Adam's answer.
We try to rank stories that we think you're the most interested towards the front by looking at what stories you've looked at in the past and predicting how likely you are to tap on a story, reply to a story, or even like that story. And as a result, actually your friend content tends to bubble all the way up to the front in stories particularly. We try to value content from your friends really highly across the board, but it's particularly important for stories, which is really the best way to keep up with your friends broadly.
Let's do another question, and this one is incredibly important, especially if you are new on Instagram. What's the difference between a creator account and a business account? I almost always recommend that people use creator accounts. Unless you are a very large brand, I would recommend not using a business account. Your options of music are more limited and many other things. Here's Adam's answer to the difference between a creator and a business account.
They have most of the same defaults. You can actually decide and label yourself as a creator or as a business, but it changes some of the features you have access to. In general, though, I'm trying to make sure that no features are limited to just certain types of accounts. That's not the case, but I'm trying to get there because I want people to not have any incentives to say that they're something that they're not, so we can have the cleanest account system possible, but some more work to get there.
The biggest part is music licensing. Just sort out music licensing. Businesses should have access to use music on Instagram the same way that creators have access to use music on Instagram. That's it. End of story. Creating anything that you want to use a specific music clip for because it's viral or you like the song or whatever other reason should not be limited just because you're a business account. That absolutely makes no sense to me in 2024. The last question we're going to do today, does the algorithm punish you if you block profiles? I can't imagine why someone would think that, but here's Adam's answer.
Nope, nothing should change about your reach if you block profiles. Please feel free to use block if you need to. You can also use restrict, which is kind of like block, but the person won't be able to find out, so it sort of preserves plausible deniability, so to speak. Again, that won't affect how well your content is ranked in other people's feeds either.
I'm glad he mentioned restrict mode there. I think restrict mode is a great way if you are dealing with someone on Instagram who's saying inappropriate things or you just don't really like the way they phrase, whatever it is. If you turn on restrict mode for them or restrict their comments, the person who's making those comments won't know that they are restricted and others won't see their comments. And it's a great way to diffuse the situation. Let the person say whatever they want. They can keep saying it. You put them on restrict mode and no one else will ever see it. That is going to do it for today's episode. As always, thank you for listening. If you have a moment, please leave a review of the show. That would really help. Have a great day.
Instagram news got you covered, sometimes even TikTok. Relevant platforms in the metaverse ahead of the wave without a break or a pit stop. Still waiting for Zuckerberg to give me the big job. Pause. Use trademarks and logos with Insta's permission, of course. If you like the show and you gain some good info, maybe leave a review. It's a type of applause. Just drop me a message if you want to collab. If you got some good content or you want to run ads, at Daniel Hill Media is where I am. TikTok, Facebook and Instagram.